Great. Are you coming in cross session?
I'll be there for the closed session.
Okay.
I wouldn't miss that for the world.
Okay.
He just called me.
It's ready. Let's start. This is a regular open meeting of the Third Laguna Hills Mutual Board of Directors, a California nonprofit mutual benefit corporation. Today is Tuesday, April 15, 2025. We're here at the Laguna Wood Village Community Center, 9:30 a.m. The purpose of this meeting is to conduct the regular third mutual board meeting in accordance with Civil Code 4930 and was hereby noticed in accordance with the Civil Code 4920. Since we have quorum, although we have two directors on the Zoom, we have a quorum. So I call this meeting to order. I don't have a gavel. Thank you. Item 2, Director Parson will lead us to pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Parson. Okay, item 3, approval of agenda.
Second?
Okay. Do we need any changes or corrections to be made? I didn't hear anybody. So, any directors?
When we get to the consent calendar, I'm going to ask that the committee appointments either be adjusted or removed from the consent calendar.
Right. I was going to do that, but I didn't have a chance to do that.
So if you could make an amendment now to move consent calendar item 9E to, you could do it unfinished business as 10E. Does that work for you guys?
I'll also move them to move the consent calendar.
Okay.
Thank
okay.
you.
Well, so you move, who's second?
I'll second.
Okay. Director Parsons, second. So I don't hear any further comment or correction. So it is approved unanimously. Approval of minutes. A, March 18, 2025, last month of board meeting. Any movements on number A?
So moved.
Okay. Robert moved,
Peggy.
and then Peggy second. Any changes? Any corrections to be made on that? No? Okay. Unanimous. B, April 4th, agenda prep meeting. Any motion?
So moved.
Okay. Okay, same. Robert moved and Peggy second. Any changes to be made? Any correction? Good. So unanimous. Report of chair. We have a thick agenda item here, so I'm going to make it a brief. Item 5, report of the chair. I have a short announcements to our third mutual members at home and in this boardroom. I'm honored to introduce our new third director elected at third board special open meeting on April 9th, 2025. Director Jim Hopkins. He will bring a great deal of past GRF experience, and his term will end at the end of the 2026 election. We greatly appreciate his services. Please welcome Director Jim Hopkins to our third board. Thank you. Item 6, open forum. It's time for us to listen to our residents' comments, such as suggestions, ideas, or complaints. Prior to the member comments, I would like to remind everyone in this boardroom that any open forum speakers are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. At this time, members only may address the board of directors regarding items not on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of this board of directors. The board serves the right to limit total time allotted for the open forum to 30 minutes. A member may speak only once during the forum. Speaker may not give their time to other members. No audio or video recording by attendees and no rude or threatening comments are allowed. Members can attend our meeting by joining Zoom and email meeting@vmsinc.org to have your message read during the open forum. This is my comment. Thanks for listening. And Michaela, any comments or?
Yes, we have 2 in-person speakers. The first one is Chris Collins.
Okay.
Good morning, Chris Collins, 3306Q, and I'm here with another update on the work of the Foundation of Laguna Woods, which we do on behalf of residents who are experiencing temporary financial crisis. Help when life throws a curveball. Sometimes life can throw us unexpected curveballs. For example, a recent rise in inflation has upset many budgets. Weather extremes can raise energy costs, illness can take us off track, or the death of a spouse can change financial stability. Many residents have found that the foundation can help when they encounter such hard times. For example, by paying an electric bill, getting a new medication not covered by health insurance, providing grocery cards, or securing help after a hospital stay. While temporary, help from the foundation of Laguna Woods Village can make a difference and deflect that curveball. Here's some examples. Recently, the foundation helped a woman pay for her past due Edison bill. She had recently had a significant increase in medication copays and had fallen behind and received a disconnection notice. Without the foundation's assistance, she may have had her service disconnected. The foundation also helped a resident with dementia who lives alone and has experienced falls obtain an emergency response device. Recently, that resident used that device to call the paramedics after a fall. Otherwise, she might have been left alone on the floor without a way to get help. Another example is a resident on a fixed income was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Without finances to pay for caregiving, the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village stepped in to cover the cost of caregiving as she entered hospice care. This support provided the resident's family peace of mind as they transitioned to moving her into their home to care for her. So how can a resident get such assistance? You only have to go to social services, which is located in the rear of the community center here on the first floor. Their trained staff can also be reached at 949-597-4267, and they'll explain how to qualify for such temporary emergency assistance. Privacy is ensured, and all requests are kept confidential. If financial assistance is provided, the foundation pays the bill directly for the resident. So with social services, the Foundation of Laguna Woods assures access to temporary help, and you can reach us by going to our website, which is the foundationoflagunawoodsvillage.org, or you can contact us at the foundation on comline.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. Anybody else?
Yes, we actually have 2 more. Next speaker is Jules Zalon.
Good morning, Jules Allen, 3124A. I'm addressing my remarks to the members of this terrific community who have invested much of your life savings here. who have lived long and fruitful and probably very successful lives. We've earned the right to be treated with respect and with dignity, the right not to be bossed around by folks half our age who have nothing invested in this community, folks who are in fact just our employees. I'm talking about our compliance department. Many of you have been on the receiving end of my now 4 bulletins that accuse the compliance staff and this board of violating the most basic constitutional rights of our members. Conduct that is not only illegal, but an insult to the members' dignity. But accusations are not facts, so I'm here to tell you that in my next bulletin, I will provide the facts that support 8 specific violations of how our compliance staff and this board insults and abuses our members, how they discipline and fine members for doing nothing improper, nothing illegal, just exercising their rights to say exactly how they feel, to exercise their constitutional First Amendment rights to express themselves. You might wonder why this board sits around and allows compliance to get away with abusing our members. It's because few, if any of them, have any real experience in running a government. So they mostly just do whatever staff recommends. And virtually every action this board takes is preceded by a staff recommendation. And I can assure you that staff recommended all the outrageous conduct that I will describe in my next bulletin. So please read the bulletin. I gotta warn you, it's pretty lengthy because it contains facts that support those 8 separate violations of members' rights, your rights. Hey, if you don't mind being treated like a patient in an old age home, if you're okay with being disciplined and fined for talking back to staff members, save your time and don't read the bulletin. But if you value your self-respect and want to control your own destiny, I invite you to spend a few minutes reading my bulletin and see how you can make this community better for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good comment. However, we don't know all the facts yet.
Final speaker for open forum is Madeleine Whiteman.
Good morning. This is my first time. I'm a little bit nervous, but I just wanted to speak about the communication here for Laguna Woods and the third. In the past, in other boards, as an owner, I got updates of what was going on, so I felt a lot more involved in the community and the decisions that were being made. And now I feel really in the dark. When I called up to find out how I could access emails for the board to send in a letter, I was told that I couldn't do anything unless I came to a meeting, which I don't know if that's true. However, I did read somewhere recently that if I wanted to get the board names and information, I had to come into the office here to get it. Now, I'm a working senior. I don't have time to run in here every time I want to get some information. I know you've recently changed the website, and so people have to log in to, get information, and it took me a little while to figure all of that out. But I really wish and hope that you would be a little bit more transparent in what's going on so the owners can have a voice in what's going on here with their third mutual and in Laguna Woods in general. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, Michaela?
No,
That's
is it.
Good, thank you. Any board members like to make a comment? Anything?
I would like to.
Okay, yes, Peggy.
To the woman that just spoke, we do have a number of communications that are available to you, and we are listed not only in the Breeze, but you can always come into the community desk right here, and they will give you our names and our emails. so that you can communicate with us. Online, we are also listed, and we try to communicate as much as we possibly can. So I think it's just a matter of becoming aware of those vehicles that are available to you, and we hope that you will do that so that you can become involved. So thank you for being here, and thank you for speaking to us.
Okay. Yeah. Ruth.
When you said you're not getting as much information, are you referring to the emails that were periodically sent out by the president?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I think they were very helpful.
All
Okay.
right. Thank you.
First, I'd like to tell Chris Collins, thank you for all the work you do and the foundation does, and we appreciate very much you coming before us every month to update us and let us know what's going on and let the community know. So thank you, and you guys do wonderful work, so thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll relay that to
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
And to the Ms. Whiteman, in terms of another way that you can access information, given that you're a working senior, obviously you can't attend a lot of meetings that we have, but you can watch any one of the meetings that we have engaged in. They're all recorded. They're up on YouTube. They're also available on Granicus. So you can watch any meeting you want. You can, scroll through it quickly, whatever, so you don't have to spend all that time. But you can see every committee meeting that Third has, every board meeting. All of that is recorded and is available, so you could find out information that way as well.
Okay. Any director? No? I'd like to ask you, Ms. Whiteman, I don't know whoever told you you must come to board meeting. I don't think that's right. And whoever told you that, you can communicate lots of different ways of communicating to us. And also we can communicate to you. So please do not believe anyone told you that kind of thing blindly. You try it yourself. Okay, thank you. Okay, we have respond to forum speakers, and we have past responses. All I'm asking is past responses. Did we follow up on item 6 of page 2 of 32? That is last month memo minutes. A member commented on sidewalk issue at their building. Did we follow up on that issue?
Yes, we have a list of comments that Connie provided for you to read.
Okay. And on occupant with the permission to speak granted by a member, comment on the variance being rescinded on a washer and dryer in their unit. Okay.
Yeah, you should have that list from Connie.
Yeah, this is what I got right now. So, okay. I assume that we follow up on that one? Okay, good. Thank you. Now, item 8. CEO report, if we don't have any more comments or anything. Good. Yes.
Thank you,
Siobhan,
Honorable
take over.
President, members of the board. This morning, I'd like to share some key updates from the community. I'm going to ask our audience to be quiet, though, so we can be uninterrupted, please. I'm going to begin with CAL FIRE has released the updated fire hazard severity zone maps for Southern California.
Would you hold it, please? Jewel, would you please? Thank you. What? Oh, you're making noise, so she cannot speak. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. CAL FIRE has released the updated fire hazard severity zone maps for Southern California, including Laguna Woods. The zones are classified as moderate, high, or very high based on fuel, slope, fire weather, and wind patterns. These maps inform defensible space regulations known as Zone 0 standards and wild urban interface building codes, which we are working closely with city staff to thoroughly understand. State law requires the cities to adopt the maps within 120 days, and cities cannot alter the designated zones. Residents may view the updated map for Laguna Woods on the city's website. Can you please switch to the next slide? This is available at cityoflagunawoods.org/projects. The City Council will consider adoption on May 21st, 2025 at 2 p.m. at Laguna Woods City Hall at the City Council meeting. Questions and comments should be directed to the city by contacting Planning and Environmental Services at planning@cityoflagunawoods.org or by calling the city at 949-639-0561. The recent Los Angeles fires raised questions about village roof fire safety. All residential and GRF facility roofs in United and Third meet building and fire codes. All roofs have a Class A fire rating. This is the highest rating for fire resistance. Vents are screened and chimneys have spark arresters to prevent ember entry. If you see a damaged screen or spark arrestor, please report this to Resident Services for inspection or repair. I would also like to share a few updates from Landscaping Services this morning. The department is implementing new rodent bait stations with sensor technology. These appear identical to the previous bait boxes, but are equipped with an IQ tray featuring built-in sensors that send real-time alerts via an app when rodent activity is detected. This technology will reduce the need for manual checks and improve response time. It also helps identify high-activity areas for strategic bait placement and enhances the overall effectiveness of rodent control. Landscaping Services is also implementing new nursery software. This is in the early setup phase. The technology streamlines inventory, orders, and customer tracking. It tracks costs by mutuals and GRF and supports data-driven growing and propagation decisions. It also shows plant care and placement details, such as sun and shade needs and aesthetics. Landscaping is also sharing the updated mowing schedule for the spring. The third mowing schedule features biweekly mowing in April, and starting in May, weekly mowing will begin. Our team will mow throughout the entire week to cover all of Third Mutual. Your patience is appreciated as the team adjusts to the new schedule and process. The 2025 tree maintenance contract is underway. As a reminder, there are more than 37,000 trees here in the village, and they're maintained through a 6-year species-based trim cycle. About 7,600 trees are trimmed annually for health and aesthetics, and we track this work using Arbor Pro, a GPS software system. Our current contractor is Bartlett Tree Experts, and they take a little different approach than our prior contractor. They use a blitz method to trim the trees here in the village. They've trimmed more than 1,100 trees so far this year and have 6,800 more trees scheduled over the next 6 to 8 weeks. They front load the trimming to reduce storm damage, trimming requests, and liability for the mutuals. So you're going to see a lot of tree activity in the next few weeks as they get through the inventory for this year. The Maintenance and Construction Department provides an update on Clubhouse 2 and the pool deck renovation project. This project began in late February and it is on track for a Memorial Day completion. Demolition is complete and installation of new colored concrete pavers is underway. The pavers will reduce long-term maintenance and enhance surface safety and appearance for pool users. On the screen are a couple of photos of the progress. On the left shows the demolition that occurred, and on the right shows the surface ready for installation of the pavers. Resident Services is sharing their February 2025 work order satisfaction survey results. This survey is sent to residents when a maintenance service request is completed. On the screen, you will see that residents rated the call center experience as 82% excellent or good, the maintenance experience as 80% excellent or good, response time at 81% excellent or good. Were employees courteous and professional? 88% rated employees excellent or good. And did the service meet expectations? 80% of respondents rated it as excellent or good. So we are proud of these statistics. Community Services reminds us that there is a real estate forum on Wednesday, May 7th at 1 o'clock in Clubhouse 1. Seats are limited, so an RSVP is required to realtor forums at vmsinc.org. This forum will feature a resales question and answer session. I would like to conclude with a reminder about the upcoming Social Security Benefits Workshop. This is sponsored by our Social Services Division and features Jennifer Miranda, Public Affairs Specialist for the San Diego and Orange County Social Security Administration. The workshop is on Wednesday, April 23rd at 2 o'clock in Clubhouse 7. There is no registration required. There will be an open forum following the presentation, so please bring your questions. Presentation topics include how to make informed decisions about your financial future, how to gain clarity on retirement and Medicare options, learn how and when to apply for Social Security benefits. Plus, there will be a general overview of Social Security benefits, latest Social Security Administration office updates, application guidance and timelines, and key changes to the windfall elimination provision, government pension offset, and the Social Security Fairness Act. And that concludes my update this morning. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone, any director has a question? No? Yes. Director Yun?
The survey, and I think VMS did a terrific job, and we have great numbers of people who's very happy with it. But I wonder, we did all the survey, and we become very happy, but there's a certain people still unhappy or need to be improved. Did we have any effort to find out what they want to do, what they want to improve, or that? And
Yes, we follow up on the low scores on the survey to understand what might have gone wrong, why the resident is not feeling satisfied, and we do our best to learn from those experiences.
so you do follow up. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any directors? No? I have one question. Siobhan, what attribute all these spikes on this February? Is it especially high number compared to others months?
We wanted to especially track February because January was a very difficult month in resident services. We had the LA fires that raised a lot of questions here. We had, if you'll remember, the cable television outage caused by fire impacts elsewhere in the Southern California region. So it was a very difficult month in January. So we just wanted to show you that we were able to bounce back and continue to serve at a high level.
I'd like to see 99, if it's possible. 99%. Okay, good. Thank you. I'm just joking. It's pretty hard to achieve 99%. Anyway, that's the CEO report. Now, item 9, consent calendar. We have A, B, C, D, E, all items.
He's no longer on there.
Recommend approve. Oh, yes. So A, B, C, D, with one consent motion, can be approved by consent calendar.
Okay. Second.
First, Robert move and Steve second. Michaela, you got it? Okay, good. Any question or any changes? Nothing? Okay, so I didn't hear anybody, so it's approved by unanimous. All A, B, C, D, 4 items. Okay, item 10, unfinished business. We have 4 items. Steve, are you ready?
Are we going to do E separate?
Are we going to do separate or are we going to do?
Committee appointments?
Yeah,
Each
unfinished.
one separately.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about item
Where?
E of the 9.
Oh, that comes later.
Yeah,
That's now 10E.
Yeah, okay. So we were going to, yeah.
Okay.
So,
All righty.
okay, now, as long as Steve is ready, I'm ready too. Okay, 10A. Entertain a motion to approve the resolution to standard 11A, interior hard surface flooring rules. February initiation notification was posted. Revised March 28-day notification for member review and comment to comply with the Civil Code of 4360 has been satisfied. Steve,
Okay.
please.
Resolution 03-25-XX, revised standard 11A, interior flooring for second and third floor manners. Whereas the Third Laguna Hills Mutual recognizes the need to amend standards and create new standards as necessary, and whereas the mutual recognizes the need to revise standard 11A, that is the interior hard surface flooring. Now therefore be it resolved, April 15th, 2025, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopts revision and amendments to standard 11A, interior flooring for second and third floor manners as attached to the official meeting minutes, and resolve further that Resolution 03-10-188, adopted December 21st, 2010, is hereby superseded and canceled. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution as written. And this has been satisfied with a 28-day notice.
Okay, so since it satisfies 28-day notification, it will become the rules of our third mutual.
Since there's a motion on the floor, I do have a question about the.
I didn't hear any motion. I haven't heard.
Need a motion in a second.
We need a motion.
I'll
Yes.
move. Peg will move. I'll second.
Peg move, and then second is Robert.
Okay.
So,
I do have a question though about it.
yes. Yes.
Move. On page 12 of 22, under item 4.6, 12 of 22, reimbursement of cost/board directors. Says in the first sentence, as soon as reasonable, a hearing will be held with the mutual board of directors. I guess my question is, does it have to be the full board, or can it be an executive hearing committee board, or does it have to be the full board? That's, I guess, my question.
Yes, Ellen, could you answer the question, please?
Good morning. I would need to verify that, but I think it would be through the compliance guidelines, and that's just the committee that deals with compliance, but I would need to verify.
Well, the executive hearing committee deals with compliance issues, which is made up of the executive board of the third board, as opposed to and they meet usually 3 times a month, as opposed to the regular board meeting only once a month. So what I'm thinking about, it says as soon as reasonable. If it's the full board, that's only going to be once a month.
My understanding is that it would be the executive hearing committee, but I would have to clarify that.
That would be my understanding as well.
Could we add that in and say the mutual's board of directors or the executive hearing committee? Could that be an editorial change then, if that's what your thinking is?
That can be done that way?
Yeah.
Shouldn't
There's
it
an editorial
be
change. It's just an editorial change.
Okay.
It's not a substantive change.
So, how would you go about it? Do
We
need
can
to-
amend that item to specify the executive hearing committee.
Okay. Is it legally satisfied?
Yeah, we could do
Okay.
that right here and now. It's just an editorial change.
Okay. So,
It doesn't change anything else, SK.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not
It doesn't
changing.
change anything else.
okay. So we are all in favor of the changes?
Yes.
So do we need to vote on that one?
No, we just now vote on the whole.
Okay. Whole thing. I have one question, Ellen. This is arguments that we had before. The decibel level means noise level. That's a scientific symbol of that. And you use that decibel level to either higher or lower to specify depth absorption rate as well. So we need to clarify this one. You know what I'm talking about, and I know what you're talking about. So we need to clarify this decibel level. Good example, 3.5 on page 17. Regardless of the finished flooring selected, if or when a field test is requested, these selections will become a part of a grievance procedure. All new floorings installation will be regarded to meet all AIIC rating of 57 decibel or higher. Is it true?
Yes. So let me try as best I can and explain it this way. Currently, the standard is 50 decibels. What that means is that between the second floor and the floor below it, the ceiling assembly, whatever is on the flooring on that second floor, will absorb 50 decibels of sound.
Okay.
We
need to
are-
clarify. Yeah, I understand you. Yes, clearly I understand. We need to clarify that. So simply saying decibel or higher means can be louder noise as well. If
No.
not necessarily.
It's the opposite.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
what?
It's the opposite.
Decibel
what
is the noise
57
level
decibels
dimension unit.
But the higher it is, the less sound you transmit.
That's absorption rate you're talking about.
No, that's this.
Okay.
57 decibel or higher.
Okay. This is a scientific unit that we're talking about.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
we need to clarify that. Okay. That's all I have a question.
AIIC rating.
Yeah.
That clarifies it.
It's clarified.
Okay.
So the new standard will then require whatever is between the second floor or third floor and the
Yes,
floor
I
below it
understand.
to absorb 57 decibels of sound versus 50 decibels of sound.
Okay.
Or higher.
Okay. Okay. If board members are satisfied with the numbers, then I'll go along with it. But I just point out.
May I request, is there a motion on the floor?
Yes.
Approve it, but he
Yeah.
has to write the question.
Yeah. Yeah. This is question time. We have a motion. You, I think, initiated.
I did.
Yeah, we're seniors. I know that.
I asked
Okay.
it politely.
So
Yes.
what she's really asking now is can call the question.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's amazing how well you can restructure what I say.
Okay. So all motion is there. We need to vote on it, right? It's ready to vote?
That's what I was saying.
Any further discussion?
We
No.
call for the vote.
We call the vote.
Okay, all in favor?
Do we need go through the electronics? Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let's vote. Motion is Peggy. Second is Robert.
I have on my screen, I legislate.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay.
No, I don't have.
What?
Came on.
You don't have it? Oh, okay. You can sit here.
No, I can't, that's, I'd be dismissing.
Okay.
Robert, we don't need to get bored.
See what happens when I make a motion?
Boone, you're right.
Okay, so let's vote. Good?
Craig and Howard, you guys are both voting for? Okay. Okay, thank you. I'll mark your votes down.
Good. Vote result is 10-1. We have Reza absentees here. Okay, good. Thank you, Board of Directors. Approve the amendment. Now, item B, entertain motion to approve the revision of to standard 11A, B, entertain recession to interior hard surface flooring compliant rules. February initial notification revised, March 28th date notification for member review and comment to comply with the Civil Code of 4360 has been satisfied. Steve, would you please?
Okay, Resolution 03-25-XX, rescind Third Laguna Hills Mutual Interior Hard Surface Flooring Complaint Rules. Whereas the Third Laguna Hills Mutual recognizes the need to review rules as necessary. And whereas the Mutual recently revised the language in Standard 11A, flooring for second and third floor manners to incorporate the processes currently contained in Third Laguna Hills Mutual Interior Hard Surface Flooring complaint rules. Now therefore be it resolved, April 15th, 2025, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby rescinds Third Laguna Hills Mutual interior hard surface flooring complaint rules as attached to the official meeting minutes, and resolve further that Resolution 03-13-85, adopted August 20th, 2013, is hereby superseding and canceled, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution as written. I so move.
Second.
Okay, Steve move, and then Robert second. Okay. Director Yun, you have a question?
No.
Okay. So, now discussion time. No,
Move we call the question.
I call, any questions? No questions?
No, we call for the vote.
Now we call for the vote. Okay, let's vote then.
Howard, are you for? Okay, perfect. And then Craig looks like he stepped away, so I'll mark him as absent for this vote.
Is it Craig still?
Stepped away.
Oh,
Stepped away.
so
So that's
should
it.
we wait?
No.
Okay, that's good. Okay, we have vote 9 yes, no, 0 abstain, 0. So motion passed. Now, item C, entertain a motion to reduce the leasing cap from 30% to 25%. This also, 28 notification has been satisfied. Steve, would you please?
Resolution 03-25-XX, reduce leasing cap to 25%. Whereas on April 21st, 2020, the board adopted Resolution 03-20-26, which established that a maximum of 30% of the units may be leased at any given time, that is the leasing cap. In addition to adopting the waiting list procedures once the leasing cap is reached, and whereas lowering the leasing cap might help maintain or increase property values by signaling stability and reduce concerns about short-term tenants. Now, therefore, be it resolved, April 15th, 2025, that the Board of Directors hereby approves to decrease the leasing cap from 30% to 25%, effective May 1st, 2025, and resolve further that by reducing the leasing cap to 25%, those who purchased their unit prior to the adoption of the 25% cap will be grandfathered in and will not be subject to the restriction under another owner until another owner acquires a separate interest. However, members who purchase after the adoption will not be permitted to lease their units until the current leasing percentage dips below 25% or 1,526 units. And resolve further that if the leasing percentage reaches below 25%, then the waiting list can be reestablished. And resolve further that the real estate community will be informed that effective May 1st, 2025, no sales will be approved for the purchase of leasing out the unit for investment purposes. And resolve further that Resolution 03-20-26, adopted April 21st, 2020, is hereby amended and canceled. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the process of this resolution. I so move.
Second.
Okay, Steve move and Robert second. Any question regarding this amendment? Yes.
Just a grammatical correction. Third paragraph, to decrease, should read decreasing.
Page what?
Third paragraph of the resolution that Steve just read.
Approved to.
The Board of Directors hereby approves decreasing.
It says to decrease.
To decrease.
Yeah.
To decrease.
Right,
That's either to decrease
Or-
or decreasing.
Yeah.
it's decreasing.
Either or, I
Either
think
or.
it
I
should
don't know,
go.
to decrease isn't as grammatically correct,
Oh, okay.
just my specialty.
Good.
My specialty.
Okay, I'll live with it.
Okay, so,
So you wanted to say decreasing.
Yes,
And so take out the word to and change decrease to decreasing.
correct.
okay,
Just a grammatical change.
okay, so, any further question? Yes,
We do have a member comment.
yes, please, read it.
The first one is for Madeline Whiteman.
Hello again. As an owner, I'm wondering why you are taking all this time and energy to reduce the rental cap from 30% down to 25%. You're talking about 305 units. In the staff report on this item, it was noted that the number of rentals has ranged from 27.6% to 29.3%, and you haven't implemented a wait list as yet. Then a couple of sentences later, it says that if the cap rate was 25%, it would take years to have a wait list. I don't understand this thinking. Besides, we know rental numbers fluctuate by seasons. Back in 2021, when this issue was brought up before the board then, the rental rate was 26% in 2021. Since the 30% rate has been working for so many years, why does the board feel it necessary to reduce the rate? What criteria did they look into to make this decision? When this was last brought up, it was pointed out that Assembly Bill 3182, the bill that mandated 25% of rentals for small HOAs, it was to increase the amount of housing. We still need housing in California, and that's why that bill was put into force. There are many reasons that the owners may want to keep the cap rate at 30%. If an owner wanted to rent in the future, they may not be able to if the cap rate is reached. This could adversely affect an owner who had a change in life circumstances. It could decrease the property values by limiting the pool of potential buyers, especially if someone wanted the flexibility or was doing a 1031 exchange. The seller could get a lower price for their unit. Many owners who want to rent will be stuck on a waiting list, increasing frustration and limiting their own ability to generate income on their own property. Owners who rent their units seasonally may no longer be able to do so, again reducing the income that they may plan on, especially if they're on a fixed income. The lower cap rate may turn buyers off from purchasing in Laguna Woods and go to other communities. This would lower the value of all of the properties here in Laguna Woods. I would appreciate you reconsidering reducing that rental cap rate. And if you want, I can read what Civil Code 4741, paragraph B says, which is a common interest development shall not adopt or enforce a provision in a governing document or amendment to a governing document that restricts the rental or leases separate interests within a common interest to less than 25% of separate interest. Nothing in this subdivision provides a common interest development from adopting or enforcing provision for authorizing a higher percentage of separate interests to be rented or leased. I really wish you would reconsider this. I did read that, I don't know if my time's up, but I did read that you put a lot of liens on properties recently. I think there were like 18 new liens. And that just tells me that there are people that are here that are having problems, making their payments. And all of this, by reducing the cap rate, I think will hurt the community in general. So
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Peggy.
I think the cap rate at the state level is 25%, so we're only matching the state level. And that is what you were referring to.
But the state level, this,
Just,
Let her finish.
May I ask a question? Could you tell me, do you represent the real estate or real estate group?
I am a real estate agent, and I do represent myself, and I am an owner in here.
okay, thank you.
Very much.
Thank you. Anybody else?
We did have another person submit a request, but I looked them up internally, and I believe they're a renter, Miss Gail Waite. Are you an owner? Because we can only have member owners speak, not renters.
So, actually, I'm a former owner, and I am contemplating purchasing a unit.
But you are not the owner, right?
Not at the moment,
Okay,
but-
would you just hold off on that one, please?
I'd
Just,
like to support what Madeline said. I hope you'll realize.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, please. Yeah. Anybody else?
No, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any comment?
I will say, yes, I have some comments. Oh,
No,
let's do it. Go ahead, let's do it, go.
okay. You want to
You
yield
signed
to?
up to address this issue.
Okay, good.
You did for 11E, F, and G, but you can absolutely go up. I'll put you down.
Okay, thanks. So speaking as president of the Gardenville Association, we have the highest percentage of rental units in the entire Third Mutual, and it's problematic. People are moving in and out. They are physically abusing our buildings. They have no interest in protecting the physical units themselves. And I think just the opposite. I think the value of units will go up when there's less rentals going on in our community. And I certainly know that I'm going to get less complaints from people who own and live in three-story units if we have less rentals. So I strongly support it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any
I'd like to
Yes.
comment.
Yes.
To Ms. Whitehead, just so you know, we have spoken with a number of realtors who actually very much support this activity moving from 30% to 25%. I understand that you feel the way you do, but we have spoken to realtors. And the general consensus is it's a good thing. And the other reason for wanting to go forward with this is, I personally think it will increase the value. I think it'll reduce the number of overall issues that we have. When you look at disciplinary issues, in other words, a violation of rules and regulations within Third Mutual, the percentage of individuals who are renters versus owners, the percentage, remember, right now it's about 29%. That 29% of renters represents the vast majority of disciplinary issues and compliance issues that we have in Third Mutual. And it's our belief that by moving towards more owner-occupied units, that we will also decrease the number of compliance issues that we have. So that's one of the reasons that we are going forward with this.
Yes, please come to the phone.
Of the people that you say are causing all the problems as renters, are these long-term renters or are these short-term renters?
Doesn't make any difference. The problem is that they are renters.
Yes.
Now, let me share with you also, just since you asked, you made a statement, I forgot what it was, I apologize, never mind. I can't remember, but there was one statement you made. Yes. The issue is that people who are renting for 3 months or 6 months when they're gone, they won't be impacted by this at all. They'll still be able to do that.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you just said.
You said in your statement that people who are snowbirds or whatever, who rent for short periods of time seasonally, will be impacted by this. The answer is they will not.
No, the renters won't be impacted, but the
And
people
the owners will not be
impacted if they can't rent them.
They will be allowed to continue. Anybody who is currently renting will be allowed to continue to rent. They're not going to be impacted.
Right. The new
And if
owner.
they have a lease for somebody for next year, that's not a problem. So that part, I think you're mistaken about.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I think you had a chance one time already, but I allow you twice, so please.
Well,
Director
if
Yoon,
you
please.
want me to ask a question, if you want me to answer something,
Yeah,
I'm
when
happy.
you look at the resolution, third is grandfathered, or fourth is grandfathered. So whoever right now owner,
Should not be.
until they are not impacted.
I understand that.
So even they are the snowbird or not, they are not affected until April 30th, when they own their property, they are all grandfathered. So these are trying to suppress or decrease the desire to buy just for rent. So, there's many other reasons we discussed in many other committees level. And the renter have lesser responsibility, and they are not accommodating our need. And so we think it's the compliance issue, and then the property value issue, and then also state now decreased to 25%. So we're going for this. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any more question or discussion? No? I do have.
What was the question?
Okay, call the questions? No? No, I do have one question. Jeff, yeah. Jeff, would you answer this question? Is this leasing cap regardless number of unit the owner owns?
Yes.
It's total, so if the owner owns multiple units.
Multiple units will not be affected? Okay, that's my question.
What's the percent of units, not the percent of owners? You can't
Right,
have more than
so
two.
I'm just asking the
They can
question.
own 2 units
Okay.
in third.
Okay, so that's my question. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Move we call the question?
More question? No?
No?
No, let's vote. Okay.
Okay, Craig and Howard, I see you're voting for. Thank you.
9-0.
I need Moon's vote.
Moon, you haven't voted.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't show.
There you go.
Okay, got it. 10 yes, no, 0, abstain, 0. So motion passed. Thank you, directors. Item D, entertain a motion to approve proposed amendments to financial qualification policy. This is related to reducing 30 to 25% leasing cap.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, no, just hold on. You're too fast.
But the guys are too quick for us.
Okay. We need to read the resolution.
No, this is the
No,
financial
no,
qualification.
this is the financial qualification.
We're past the
We passed it.
leasing cap.
Yeah,
So we don't need to read that?
No,
we just did that.
we just did that one.
This is qualification.
Right, I understand.
Yes. We're on
Yeah,
D.
we're 10D, yes.
We're on 10D.
So,
You want
no,
me
I
to read
said
it?
that qualification policy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we need to read or not?
Read.
Yes.
Okay, please do, yes.
Okay. Resolution 03-25-XX, Financial Qualifications Policy. Whereas Third Laguna Hills Mutual desires to protect and preserve the financial integrity of the corporation and ensure consistency among the provisions of its governing documents. And whereas it is in the best interest of the corporation to revise its financial qualifications policy to, number one, allow applicants' income and assets to be calculated collectively when there is more than one applicant. This will permit individuals to collectively qualify as well as permit children to purchase a unit with their parents so the parents can reside in the unit as members instead of lessees. Number two, permit prospective members and guarantors to submit from the nationally recognized credit reporting agency, that is Equifax, TransUnion, or Experian, a full credit report if FICO score is less than 700 or FICO score is 700 or higher with an outside mortgage. Submit a credit summary report if FICO score is 700 or higher without an outside mortgage. These reports must be dated within 60 days prior to the application submitted. Now therefore be it resolved, April 15th, 2025, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby amends its financial qualifications policy as attached to the official minutes of this meeting, and resolve further that in the resale package that references the need for a credit report shall be revised accordingly, and all qualified individuals, including parents and children's names, shall be placed on their respective deeds to be consistent with owners of a separate interest, and resolve further that said adjustment shall be effective upon approval, and information shall be disseminated to the real estate community, and resolve further that Resolution 03-24-77, adopted July 16, 2024, is hereby superseded and canceled. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of this corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution.
So moved.
Okay, who's second? Okay. Any questions? I'm asking. No? No question? That's good. So that's called vote, right?
Craig and Howard? Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. 10 yes, no 0, abstain 0. So motion passed. Now item 10E, we modified this unfinished business. 10E is mutual committee appointments and GRF committee assignment.
I'll move approval with modification.
Okay, I noticed that. But Robert moved first. Who's second?
I'll second.
Okay, Peggy second. Okay, so any
My modification
is?
My modification is under the
Architectural Control and Standards Committee for third mutual appointments, the first page 1 of 6. It says Moon Chair, Peggy Moore, and then Robert Muchnick is crossed out.
Yeah.
It actually should be that Peggy Moore is crossed out and Robert Muchnick is newly appointed to that committee.
Right.
So it's to reverse those two.
Good. Would you mind to modify that, please? Good, thank you.
Other than that, I have one other addition. That is to the Finance Committee, that we add Jim Hopkins' name to the Finance Committee.
That's correct. Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Because that's a committee of the whole, so he should automatically be there. And then later on, you'll deal with whatever additional committees.
Yes, since
But those are the two changes to the
your modification.
my modifications.
Okay, and also, I'd like to add some other modification regarding the Mr. Director Jim Hopkins' request. I'd like to modify maintenance and construction to reinstate Steve Parson and Ruth Peggy Moore to be alternate by Jim Hopkins.
I spoke with Reza specifically about this issue, and Reza agreed that Ruth Johnson should stay on the committee.
Okay, then
since Steve had volunteered to step off and Ruth step on.
Okay.
Reza said he wants to keep,
Okay,
after I spoke with him.
okay.
There's a problem I see with that, in that you have 6 members
Yeah.
from the board on that?
So
So
Steve,
you would come off.
you will come off,
Oh, okay, okay.
okay?
Since you said okay with my
No,
name.
since you volunteered to come
Okay.
off,
Right.
Okay, got it.
it would
And
stay
then-
the way stay the way it is. And if
Okay.
you want to
Is-
change Peggy Moore,
Peggy Moore to Jim
Jim
Hopkins
Hopkins
as an
as an
alternate. Is it
Alternate.
okay?
Pardon me, and where?
on MNC committee.
MNC committee.
Let me see here. You're alternate.
Okay. So what happens?
He might make Jim Hopkins an alternate instead of you.
Oh, okay,
Is it okay?
Do
okay.
you want to do that?
I guess I have to.
No, you don't.
No,
have
no,
to.
you don't
No, I
have to.
don't.
You don't have to. I'm just asking.
I want to definitely be on the policy. Let's see. Thought we had this all straightened.
I thought we did too at the last meeting.
You're on the,
Policy?
you're an alternate on the policy.
Here's the policy. Resident policy and compliance. You're alternate.
Or we can
chair.
do that after,
Okay,
for next month.
can we?
Okay? Then-
Okay, so other than that,
Other than that,
adding Jim Hopkins to Finance Committee
right,
and the change on the architectural, everything else stays the same.
right. And also, we need, on the resolution 0325XX GRF committee appointment, I need to be clear whether Robert Muchnick comes off where Howard Fox goes in on the CAC committee.
The CAC,
Yes.
Howard and I spoke. Go ahead, Howard.
The reason I'm asking is
Muted.
because Howard asked me to see if there's an opportunity, and you two discussed.
Right, Howard, and I thought Howard and I left it that I would stay on.
Oh, you'll stay on, okay.
Howard,
ACSC?
you want to speak to that?
Well, yeah, I have an interest in being on that committee, so I don't know how you can or can't do it.
Then I would have to come, well, there's 2 of us on there, myself and Moon. Somebody has to come off.
Right.
If I come off, I'd have to come off for you to go on. Do you want to do that?
I don't want to take away your fun.
Okay, that's it then.
Moon?
Yes,
Okay, I make a motion just approve as it is, and then we can discuss it the next, whole month, we can discuss it.
We can discuss it.
I don't like to discuss it at the open meeting.
okay, that's fine, that's fine. Let's do that.
I make a motion approve as written.
Okay, not as written, but there's a modification.
With the 2 modifications.
Two modifications.
Whatever has been done, I don't want to discuss any further.
Okay, good. That's fine.
What are we talking?
So are we going to discuss this at the next meeting?
We'll discuss
Next
it at
meeting,
the
yeah.
agenda prep meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
next
Agenda
meeting.
prep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The reason I bring this up is because Mr. Hopkins, we are new director, and I want to fit it in based on his interest. So-
Right, but we'll discuss that agenda prep.
Okay.
So right now.
Or separate,
Yeah, and
Right now, it's just with these 2 changes.
right.
And Peggy as well has a question.
Yep, there's no changes
And
except finance committee
Circumstances change.
and
Architectural committee.
architectural
That's
control.
it.
Yes, that's it. Okay? So we all clear? Okay, now let's vote. Favor, yes or no?
Craig and Howard? Okay, great, thank you.
It's just the GRF, right?
Yeah.
No, both. It's both. Third and.
It should be
GRF.
for third and GRF.
Then there's no changes on third of this.
Yes, the change on third is to add Jim Hopkins to the Finance Committee and to swap you and I on the
Architectural.
Architectural Committee.
We need Peggy's vote.
So you need to,
I don't, yeah.
She's busy talking.
I'm busy clarifying.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, 10 vote, no, 0, abstain, 0. So motion passed. Thank you. Now, where's my? Item 11, A.
Patio slabs,
Yeah, just hold on.
slabs, walkways, and pavers.
Where's? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, here's. I had the wrong paper here. Item 11, new business. A, entertain motion to approve revision to standard 21 patio, slabs, walkways, and pavers. This is a 28 notification. Steve, would you go for it?
Okay, Resolution 03-25-XX, revised standard 21, that is to patio slabs, walkways, pavers, and driveways. Whereas the Third Laguna Hills Mutual recognizes the need to amend standards and create new standards as necessary, and whereas the Mutual recognizes the need to revise 21, that's standard 21, patio slabs, walkways, and pavers. Now therefore be it resolved, May 20th, 2025, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopts revision and amendments to Standard 21, patio slabs, walkways, pavers, and driveways as attached to the official meeting minutes, and resolve further that the resolution 03-24-18 adopted February 20th, 2024 is hereby superseded and canceled. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution as written. And this is 28-day notification.
Peggy moved. Any second?
Ruth?
Okay, Ruth, a second. Any discussion? Yes, Robert.
Alan, I have a question. Sorry, but I read everything.
Good. I'm glad you did.
Page 11 of 18. Item 3.11. The last sentence there says, color, style, fashion, or design shall be optional. I guess my problem is, or my question is, I don't understand why we even need that sentence, because as I read the rest of the paragraph, it says, colors shall be earthly muted tones, all patterns and colors shall be approved by agent staff prior to installation, concrete slab stamping to be reviewed and approved by manner alterations. Why do we need the last sentence?
I agree. I'm just not finding where you're at. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the.
I'm on page 11 of 18.
3.11.
311.
Looks like
3.11?
3.11, and I'm looking only at the last sentence in 3.11 and wondering why we need that sentence when we have all that we have up above it.
All right, as I read 3.11, it says, and this is in the modified.
I'm in the red line. I'm in the red line version.
All right, the final version.
Well, I'm in the final version, page 15 of 18. Doesn't matter. I'm in final version. Whichever one you want.
Replacing driveway concrete slab with pavers is permitted, like for like in dimension and location only. All maintenance of pavers and.
Wait. Where are you reading?
311.
311.
311.
Last,
Yeah,
Page
and
15 of 18.
Then I apologize. I have a different 3.11 that I'm looking at.
What?
So I.
Okay.
The top there.
To answer your question, I agree.
Take a look at now what I'm talking about, 3.11.
It's duplicated.
The last sentence, I just don't think is a necessary sentence.
Contradicting.
That's because he's written so many books.
So where it says color, style, fashion, or
Yeah, that
design
Yeah.
shall be optional, I would agree with removing that.
Okay.
So,
It's a grammatical change.
our board of
I just
directors,
suggest as an editorial change that we delete
Right.
that sentence.
Yeah, I make a motion to strike that out because it's contradicting and
Yes.
doesn't need it.
okay. So, any second?
No, we don't need a motion.
Just a
It's just
strikeout?
editorial change.
Okay.
Just strike out.
Yeah, it's just a strikeout. of
Color,
editorial.
style, fashion, or design shall be optional,
It's
should
being
be
removed.
eliminated.
Eliminate, that's all.
The
Just
last
editorial.
sentence, strike out.
Yep, okay. Now, that's the condition to approve that.
That's all I had. I had no other comments about it.
Any comment or any other corrections? No?
Move
Then
to
I'd
call the
like to
question.
move-
Close it.
I'd like to move to vote on this one.
Okay, Craig and Howard, I have your votes. And we just need moons. There we go.
Okay, you got it.
You
Yes,
already-
10, no,
Do
0,
you
abstain,
have a
0.
motion? I'm finding that.
So, motion
You
passed.
probably have one.
I have that too.
Thank you,
I think it,
directors.
I'm finding it where my finger's cold.
Okay.
And it doesn't,
Maybe.
11B, entertain motion to approve revision to unauthorized alteration fee. This is also 28-day notification. Steve, could you take over?
Resolution 03-25-XX, unauthorized alteration fee. Whereas the mutual has seen an increase in unauthorized alterations, and whereas significant administrative staff time is necessary to investigate, document, and process unauthorized alteration incidents, and whereas in order to offset a portion of the administrative costs associated with the investigation, documentation, and processing of unauthorized alteration incident, the board approved an unauthorized alteration fee. And whereas operational costs have increased since the time of inception. Now therefore be it resolved, May 20th, 2025, that the Board of Directors hereby increase the unauthorized alteration fee for processing mutual consents after the fact to $400 effective June 1st, 2025, and resolve further when it has been determined that a member has started or completed alterations without proper prior mutual consent and city permit, a stop work notice will be issued and the member will be scheduled for a disciplinary hearing before the board, and resolve further, the member will be directed to apply for mutual consent and shall pay the unauthorized alteration fee, which shall be in addition to the board approved mutual consent processing fees, and resolve further, payment of the unauthorized alteration fee does not preclude the member from disciplinary action by the board, and resolve further that Resolution 03-18-113 adopted July 17th, 2018 is hereby superseded and canceled, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. This is on 28-day notification.
Peggy already moved. Who's the second? Second, Robert. Any question? Yes.
This alteration fee was about 6 years old, and for unauthorized alteration fee, we are increasing about 30% for 6 years. So I would, just for discussion, and I think it's time for us to increase at least 30 to 50% for 6 years, last 6 years to cover up. So I'll like to bring it back to a whole fee schedule trying to increase, but at this point, I'm supporting for increasing for 33%. Thank you.
Okay, any further question? Robert?
No, I think the members need to just understand that this is to cover the cost of staff time to prepare all the documents and everything necessary, and it's really questionable whether it actually even does cover it, but at least moves us in a better direction that out-of-pocket expenses for Third Mutual are being addressed. But I
Okay.
agree that we need to look at all the fees.
Okay. So,
Agree that we need to look at all the fees.
so our motion is accept as staff recommended the motion, alteration, unauthorized penalty fees and so forth, right? Any further questions, Peggy?
No.
Nope, okay.
He's making sure not to cut you off.
Okay, so let's call for vote.
Okay, Craig and Howard, I saw yours.
I got a problem. I'm co-pilot.
It shows co-pilot, and he's, oh, you can tell.
Okay. Paul will.
Sign your stuff. Oh, okay. Let's see.
How about yours?
I'm fine.
Okay, okay. You did first.
But what? I don't touch anything now.
Yeah, I found my finger. Didn't know what to do. And I think it's when it's cold, it doesn't, the screen doesn't sense it.
Got it?
Not yet.
That's it?
Somehow I got kicked out by this. There we go.
Okay.
Perfect,
Okay.
thank you.
Oh,
Now, yes, 10, no, 0, abstain, 0. Motion passed. Item D, entertain, item C, entertain motion to approve amended rules for board meetings, April, initial notification. It is 28-day notification as well. Steve, would you?
Okay, Resolution 03-25-XX, Rules for Board Meetings. Whereas each owner/member of Laguna Woods Village has an ongoing interest in the right under California law to participate in the governance of their community, and whereas the Board of Directors of the Third Laguna Hills Mutual has an equal interest and duty under law to ensure that the management of the community's affairs is carried out professionally and in adherence with the provisions of the Davis-Sterling Act. And whereas the Board of Directors updated the rules for board meetings to align with the dispute resolution meetings stated in the Davis-Sterling Act. Now therefore be it resolved, May 20th, 2025, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby approves the attached revised rules for board meetings, and resolve further that Resolution 03-24-122, adopted October 15th, 2024, is hereby superseded and canceled. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. 28-day notification.
Okay, Peggy moved, and the second is Ruth. Any question or discussion of the rule? No? I didn't hear anything, so let's go for the vote.
Okay, Craig and Howard, thank you.
Oh, it's already yes 10, no 0, abstain 0. The motion passed. Item D, entertain motion to approve amended executive hearing committee charter. This is also 28-day notification. Steve, please.
Resolution 03-25-XX, Executive Hearings Committee Charter, amended May 20th, 2025. Whereas the Third Laguna Hills Mutual Third Board of Directors recognizes the need to address disciplinary matters with adequate time to review and enforce Third's governing documents each month. And whereas that pursuant to bylaws, Article 7, Section 7.1, the board determined to establish the Executive Hearings Committee as a standing committee of this corporation for the purpose of hearing disciplinary hearing matters, as well as for determining responsibilities for damage reimbursement situations. And now therefore be it resolved, May 20th, 2025, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby amends the members and responsibilities information for the committee as follows. Number 1, committee members, subparagraph 1. The board shall appoint either the board president or the board first vice president as the committee chair. Subparagraph 2, the committee shall consist of 3 board members and 2 alternate board directors and will be voting members appointed by the board upon recommendation of the committee chair. Subparagraph 3, a committee member absent from 3 consecutive regularly scheduled meetings shall no longer qualify for the committee unless excused by the chair. Subparagraph 4, this committee shall serve at the direction of and at the pleasure of the board. Now, number 2, responsibilities. The primary responsibility of the committee is to recommend general and specific actions related to the governing documents for the board's approval and implementation, including but not limited to. Subparagraph 1, the committee shall, pursuant to bylaws Article 4, Section 4.5, hold disciplinary hearings on matters submitted to the committee by the Compliance Division. Subparagraph 2, the committee may, pursuant to bylaws Article 4, Section 4.5.2, take disciplinary action against any member, qualifying resident, co-occupant, tenant, and their guest for breach of the bylaws, CC&Rs, and other governing documents. Subparagraph 3, the committee shall have full autonomy for the purpose of hearing and acting on disciplinary hearing cases. Subparagraph 4, the committee shall have full autonomy for the purpose of hearing and acting on common area damage reimbursement cases. Subparagraph 5, the committee shall serve as representatives of the board for the purpose of hearing and acting on meet and confers / internal dispute resolution. Subparagraph 6, consult as appropriate and upon committee approval with third counsel. Subparagraph 7, function in accordance with the governing documents and federal, state, and local laws. Subparagraph 8, perform such additional functions as may be assigned or referred to the committee by the board president, as well as those that are necessary and prudent to fulfill the committee's duties and responsibilities. Subparagraph 9, function as an advisory and liaison body to the managing agent in matters pertaining to government document changes / implementation and coordinate these matters with other standing committees having related concerns. Resolve further, Resolution 03-24-68, adopted June 28, 2024, is hereby superseded and canceled. Resolve further that the officers and agent of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to take such action as they deem appropriate to carry out the purposes of this resolution as written. This is also on 28-day notification.
So moved. Okay, Robert moved. Second, Peggy. And there's one correction to be made. Resolved further that the officers and it's not agent, it's the agenda of this corporation. Okay, thank you. Yes.
For the discussion, page 5 over 10.
5 over 10.
Committee member, I have 2 questions or 2 comments to make. Number 1, 2 had 3 board directors and then 2 alternate board directors, and that means the chair is the president.
Or first
the
vice president.
Vice president, first vice president is the committee, the committee member second, okay, and then 3 other member doesn't have to be secretary, treasurer, or executive members. Okay, executive member can be any other members. I want to make that very clear.
Yeah, it's
Everybody
two alternates.
understand that. So only 2 members are fixed, but all other 3 members and alternate are any other board members.
Okay.
Okay, and then number 3, unless excused by chair, when you are absent for 3 times consecutively, that means then excused by chair means any time or each absent have to be excused by chair. We're talking about that, or all 3 excused. So I want to make that clear. The language
Yeah,
is very
I had
clear.
a question of that.
Each meeting can have to be excused by chair, not for 3 meetings.
If the chair excuses the person from one meeting, and then there are 2 more, that person still qualifies because they've only had 2 consecutive missed meetings.
Yeah, correct. That's what I meant. So I want to make that language very clear. It is very vague.
Okay. Basilda, can you explain to us?
So as stated, so if a director is absent 3 meetings in a row without the chair giving their blessing that one of the 3 is not excused, then yeah, this language would come into play. But if the office or the director is excused once or all 3, it's fine. So the language is correct.
Okay. So any chair can excuse 1 member if.
No, this is the executive hearing charter.
Yeah,
Only-
the-
This is only the
Committee
executive
members.
hearing charter.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
if you're excused from 1 meeting and you had 3, it only is 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you could miss the first 2 and then come in and say to the chair, I'm not going to be here for the next one. I want to be excused. That's all it would
Starts
take.
over.
Okay.
Yeah.
In general, whenever you notify to be excused before meeting, they're considered excused and counted as attended. That in general, any other meetings.
Right.
Okay.
So I want to make that very clear on this one, number 3.
Okay. Any question?
I think it is clear.
It is clear.
It is
It's
clear.
clear
Okay.
to me.
I think we're all on the same page, all saying the same thing, and that's what this is saying.
Okay.
So I just want to make
Yeah.
a point so we all understand.
Yeah. I have a comment.
Yes.
I have a comment just for the people listening to this meeting, members listening to the meeting, that the changes in here are to maintain consistency with the changes in the policy that was previously approved for 28 days. Just so people know.
Okay.
Oh,
Any
one
further?
other thing. Excuse means if I notify the secretary or committee or board, I'm not gonna be in town for 3 days or a whole month, then that be considered as excused. Instead of I have to notify them meeting each time. Is that correct?
That,
I would think if you already know you're going to be gone for a month, and you notify, this is only relates to the executive hearing committee. That's all this relates to. If you notify the chair, you're not going to be around for a month. We now have an individual who is not going to be here for the next 2 to 3 weeks. He's already notified the chair of that. That to me would constitute an excused absence.
yeah. Okay.
I agree with you. I want to make that
Okay.
clear.
Okay, good. Thank you. I think we got to move. Okay. No further questions? Okay, now call for vote.
Okay, thank you, Howard and Craig.
Okay. Voting result, yes 10, no 0, and abstain 0. Motion passed. Now, item E, entertain a motion to approve amended pet policy, and it is 28 notification. Steve, please.
Resolution 03-25-XX, amended pet policy. Whereas the Board of Directors of Third Laguna Hills Mutual recognize the need to amend the pet policy to set out the rules and regulations for the treatment and handling of pets within the Third Laguna Hills Mutual, and whereas the Resident Policy and Compliance Committee received a request from the Garden Villa Association to include specific language for three-story buildings to prohibit pet urination and defecation on common areas inside three-story building and within 10 feet of the exterior of three-story buildings. Now therefore be it resolved, May 20th, 2025, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby approves the revised pet policy attached to the official minutes of this meeting, and resolve further that Resolution 03-23-24, adopted March 21st, 2023, is hereby superseded and canceled. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution.
So moved.
Okay, Robert move.
Second.
Second, Peggy. It's a clear pattern at this point. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, just one question. On 3, it says pet, and it describes what the definition of pet, including dog. And then 4 just says vicious animal, and describes it only as a dog.
So, vicious cat?
Could it be a cat? I realize most of the time it's dogs being walked, etc. But
Or chicken.
Or chicken. But just a clarification. I don't know whether that makes a difference or not.
What page was it?
5 of 22.
5 of 22.
Yeah. Definitions. 3 means it says pet, and then it describes bird, cat, dog, aquatic animal, etc. And then vicious animal is only described as a dog.
Okay.
Oh, any pet.
Okay.
Instead of dog. Yeah, birds are irritating.
Do we need to accommodate that or not?
Just change dog to pet.
Pet? Okay. Would you?
Animal.
Yeah.
The vicious animal. Go ahead, Belinda.
Okay, so is that what the board would like, just to change dog to pet?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what the board is discussing. Whatever. Okay, I have a question regarding the 19 of 22. 19 of 22. Any member or person having charge, custody, or control of any dog, shouldn't it be pet rather than dog, or the similar things? I'm just questioning.
So most of the time, people have their dogs in common areas, so
Yes.
I believe that's why the policy was written to specify dogs. I do know that some residents do walk their cats on leashes,
Okay.
so it's the minority, so we can always, however
Okay.
the board would like us to address it.
I'm just raising questions, that's all. Okay. This is coming from three-story building meeting, so I kind of agree with them that, the dog should not urinate it on the carpet. I like this rule, but personally. So any other question or questions? No?
I would say that if we're going to change from vicious animals from dog to pet, we should also change here in E, control of any pet.
I
Okay.
agree.
That's a
To be
modification?
I agree.
Okay. Brasilda, are you agreeing too?
So you have letter 3A, you also mentioned specifically a dog. Do you want me to change that to pet as well? Or do you want to send it back to committee and I can ask them?
No.
Send it back to committee.
Okay,
I think
I
we
just
should-
want to make sure, because
Just
there's
go
some
ahead.
mentions of
Yeah.
dogs.
This, under 3A, yeah, it should be pet. Under 5, vicious animal, it should say pet instead of any dog. So yeah, in all the logical places where it says dog, it should be
Yeah.
changed to pet.
Okay, yeah.
Pet
'cause
or animal?
3C would be the same thing. We would probably change that to pet.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Any amendment or perhaps modification?
Yeah, with direction for
Yes.
staff to change dog to
Okay.
pet.
In all the appropriate places.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Any further questions? Yes.
We do have a member comment if you guys
Yes,
are ready.
please
Oh,
do.
Okay. Stuart Hack?
Okay.
He was just has a placeholder in case.
Right, yeah. Okay. Okay. Further question? No? Let's vote.
Okay, Craig and Howard, I got your guys's.
Okay.
We
One
just
more.
need SK.
I did.
Did.
Try again.
One more time?
There we
Oh,
go.
that's okay, good. Thank you. Yes, 10, no, 0, abstain, 0. Motion passed. Now, item F through I don't think we need to read the resolution. Am I correct, or we need to read? Yeah.
Yeah, you need to read it.
Yeah, I think it'd be good for you guys to read it, just in case.
Okay.
Membership needs to know.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I'm just trying to shorten the time. Okay. F, entertain a motion to approve a supplemental appropriation for Garden Villa building entrance handrail. Steve, could you please?
Okay, Resolution 03-25-XX, 2025 budget adjustment for Garden Villa building handrails. Whereas on March 3rd, 2025, the Third Maintenance and Construction Committee discussed a request for handrail installations for Garden Villas and requested the Finance Committee consider potential funding sources to allow for the installation with the 2025 budget. And whereas the 2025 business plan approved by the third board allocates $60,000 from the reserve fund for Garden Villa Recreation Room window replacements. And whereas on April 1st, 2025, the third Finance Committee met and endorsed a recommendation for a supplemental appropriation from the reserves fund for the installation of metal handrails at entrances to 25 Garden Villa buildings to be offset by the reduction in funding from recreation room window replacements. Now therefore be it resolved on April 15th, 2025, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby authorizes $60,000 be reallocated from the Garden Villa Recreation Room Window Replacement Fund for the installation of handrails at entrances to 25 Garden Villa buildings. And resolve further, a reallocation is authorized from the reserve fund in the amount of $60,000 to be used for handrail installations at Garden Villas, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution.
Okay. Any move? Okay, Peggy move, Robert second. So any discussion? Yes.
Okay. With this MNC, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Manual is back there.
Manual? May I ask? Okay. First of all, I like to have a rail. This is a great idea. But do we need a rail in both sides or only one side? I want you to answer that.
Yeah, we're proposing one side, and that's what the MNC committee also recommended.
Okay, second one is like a building 4008, the entrance, not many people use because of the driveway, all that, and entrance way up, not many people use it. There are several buildings, something like that. The entrance seldomly be used. Certain entrances are every time you need to use that, but certain building, the entrance doesn't, most of people doesn't use the entrance at all. So I want you to recognize it and I don't want to treat every entrance the same way. If people doesn't use it, maybe we don't need the rail.
Well, that's why there are only 25 are being installed, not all of them.
Not all of them. Thank
That's
you.
the reason.
On that.
Okay.
I would just like to make a comment.
Yes, please.
I want to make sure that everybody understands that these handrails are not being installed for safety purpose, because it's a safety issue. They're being installed solely as a convenience for people, not because it's considered a safety concern.
Okay. That's a good point. That's the
I
reason.
think, same comment. I think they need to be specified to get off our liability. So it is installed for convenience, not for safety issue.
Manuel, would you mind put that in modification?
Certainly, we can modify the resolution to put that statement in there.
Okay. It's not safety
You're
reason?
in agreement that it's not a safety issue, it's just a convenience issue. Is that
Correct.
correct?
Okay. Okay. So, any more questions regarding handrail? No? Let's vote. Oh.
Yeah, we don't have.
Oh, they voted.
It's not pulled in.
Sorry, one moment.
It's not showing there. Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
You're just getting, it doesn't.
It says nobody moved and nobody seconded.
I'll update it.
You write it in?
Yeah. Oh,
No, that's what I'm saying. You did, but it's just not here. It's okay.
oh,
Yeah.
It's okay.
Peggy moved and Robert second. Yeah. Yes.
I
That's
just
what we
need Ruth's.
discussed.
There we go. Okay.
Okay. Okay, the motion, yes 10, no 0, abstain. Did I vote yes? Okay.
If it's 10, then yes.
Okay.
They'll all vote for you.
Okay, good. Thank you. Now, item Z. Entertain motion to approve supplemental appropriation for elevator interior replacement.
Steve, if you're getting tired of
Steve,
reading, I'll
okay.
before you-
Go ahead.
Go ahead, yes.
Supplemental appropriation for.
Turn it on first.
Supplemental appropriation for elevator interior replacements. Whereas the annual elevator replacement program includes the replacement of mechanical components and replacement of laminated interior wall panels, handrails, lighting, door jamb signs at each floor, permit holder, plastic light panels, and emergency light pack, and is funded and is included in the 2025 business plan. And whereas the 2025 funding allocation includes funding for 3 elevators in the annual replacement program, and whereas new competitive bid prices for the interior replacements have increased significantly over the previous contract prices, and whereas the approved budget for 2025 is insufficient to complete all 3 interior replacements and will require a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $21,600. And whereas on March 3rd, 2025, the Third Maintenance and Construction Committee voted to recommend the board approve the supplemental appropriation to fully fund 3 elevator interior renovations. And whereas on April 1st, 2025, the Third Finance Committee voted unanimously to recommend the board approve a supplemental appropriation to provide funding to complete 3 interior replacements. Now, therefore, be it resolved, on April 15th, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby authorize a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $21,600 to be funded from the reserve fund, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution.
Any motion? Okay, Peggy move, and then second, Ruth. Any discussion on this? We already discussed it, the MNC committee. Okay, so there's no question or comment, so let's vote.
It was also approved by the Finance Committee.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, Craig and Howard, I have your votes. Thank
We don't
you.
have our voting screen yet.
We need co-pilots.
Okay.
Steve, do you want me to read the next one?
There's no summary sheet for it. It's the elections.
No.
Yes.
Election. Okay. So, yes 10, 0 no, abstain 0. So motion passed. Item H, entertain a motion to approve 2025 annual election schedule. Do we have any?
So moved.
Okay. Second. Move Robert and second Peggy. And any discussion? It's a regular annual election process. So since we do not have any further question, let's vote.
Okay, sorry, 1 second. It was Robert and then Peggy?
I don't have any pilot.
Correct.
We,
No, she needs.
some of us don't have a.
She's putting it.
Yeah, I'm inputting it right now, sorry.
Okay.
You guys are speedy. Okay, I got Craig and Howard's.
She's got you as the mover, me as the second. But it was you as the mover and Ruth is the second. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yes 10, no 0, abstain 0, motion passed. Election schedule is on the page 304, so everybody read it, I suppose. Item I, entertain motion to approve the rescission of Resolution 03-23-106, third Laguna Hills Mutual Board of Resolution to create executive committee. This is resolution for expiring the executive committee.
Rescinding it.
Rescinding it. So
I'll read
who's
it.
going to read? Okay.
Rescinding of the Third Laguna Hills Mutual Board Resolution to create executive committee. Whereas all mutual board members owe the mutual certain fiduciary duties, including the duty to maintain confidentiality, duty of loyalty, and duty of care. The duty to maintain confidentiality requires board members to refrain from disclosing any confidential or attorney-client privileged information to anyone who is not on the board. The duty of loyalty requires the board members cannot have divided loyalties and may not take any personal action or opinion which is against or inconsistent with the best interests of the mutual. The duty of care requires that directors must be diligent and careful in performing the duties they have undertaken, and whereas in August of 2023, a sitting director intentionally breached their fiduciary duty of loyalty, duty of confidentiality, and duty of care by disseminating confidential information and communications of the mutual on at least 2 occasions to several members of the mutual without the approval of a majority of the board, and whereas the board noticed a censure hearing for this sitting director to discuss the above-referenced breaches of fiduciary duty, and pursuant to a notice due process hearing, the board determined to censure this director for their breaches of fiduciary duties, parentheses, censure, pursuant to the board resolution to censure a board member on September 13th, 2023. And whereas on September 13th, 2023, as a result of the censure, the board established an executive committee for the board to discuss all matters considered in the mutual's executive session without this director present during such discussions and any subsequent decisions. And whereas on March 7th, 2025, this director resigned from the board, resulting in no further need for the board to discuss matters via the executive committee. And that now therefore be it resolved
On
On April 15th.
I'm sorry, I just lost my place. On April 15, 2025, the Third Mutual Board of Directors of this corporation dissolved the Executive Committee and resolve further, Resolution 03-23-106, effective September 13th, 2023, is hereby rescinded in its entirety and no longer in effect, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution.
Peggy move. Second. Steve. Any question? Like I said, this is related to executive session.
Right. It's pretty clear.
Pretty clear.
Yeah.
So, any question? No further question?
Call
We'll
the
vote.
question.
I call for the vote. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Craig and Howard.
Okay. Yes, 10, 0 no, 0 abstain. So motion passed. Any further? Let's go to item 12. Third Mutual Committee report. First, Finance. Donna, please take away.
Okay. The Finance Committee met on April the 1st, and as was mentioned earlier in the meeting, this Finance Committee consists of all members of the board because of our fiduciary responsibility to the community. If we begin and can see those slides up, thank you very much. We've condensed them a little more to make it a more compact report and hopefully more meaningful. We begin with our overall income statement, and this is income from all sources and two budgets of all budgets. Our actual revenue from assessments was as expected. Our non-assessment revenue slightly higher than was budgeted, leaving us total revenue of $8.133 million versus $8.114 that was budgeted. And our total expenses were decreased slightly, and you will see that as the report continues, leaving us a net revenue by the end of February. And you'll notice that is the end of February, so it's a little while ago, of a little over $2 million. Variance of $1.8 million from budget. And I do want to say that because we use a modified accrual, just like us in our home budgets, money keeps coming in even though some of the bills may not have arrived. And so early in the year, it's not unusual for this to happen and for us to see that, and it will start to balance out as the year goes. But we certainly at this point want to be ahead of budget, or at least there. So thank you. And as we move on to the next slide. We're looking at, we're looking at the most significant variances to the budget. The biggest one was outside services, and you can see it's quite large. It's $1.6 million. And it was many reasons for this. Primarily, it was favorable in M&C and landscape, not surprising. That's usually where we have our biggest bills during the year, driven by timing across several of the programs. There were delays in invoicing for some of the completed work, primarily things related to damage restoration, dry rot repairs, and tree maintenance. And some program scheduling also for roofing that actually hadn't even begun yet. And so we're not receiving any bills for that. Additionally, some landscape modifications came in under budget due to less work completed than anticipated early in the year. We had quite a bit of rain at one point. Our next area of significant variance is employee compensation. It's primarily, once again, due to open positions, this time in maintenance, in M&C, rather than also in landscape. Landscape seems to have been able to fill that in with new staff as well as with outside contractors. And some of the areas that have been impacted by having these open positions are carpentry, paint, damage restoration, and plumbing. And they continue to recruit for these positions, and we hope to be able to fill them soon. Next and last, for the large variances, we have investment income. And that is favorable, resulting from higher investment balances at the time of the budget, when the budget was prepared. We had anticipated a 4.3% return compared to a budgeted return of 4%. And again, just to remind our members, our investments at this point are in Treasury bills, and we have them on a ladder so that they are maturing at various times. And it's very wonderful to see that as we get to one of the subsequent slides, to see the percentage of our non-assessment revenue coming from our investments, because safety is our greatest priority. We are bound by David Sterling to follow safety. We need them to be liquid, and yield is important, but it's never to be done at the expense of safety. So it's wonderful to see that they've been doing quite well for us and have a major part of our non-assessment revenue. When it comes to fees and charges for services, primarily the expenses were, I'm on the wrong slide, I'm serious. I just jumped down too far, there's too many pages today. It's only slightly unfavorable, primarily due to timing of billing for chargeable services to residents, and again, damage restoration, which continues to be something we're catching up on. And the last is utilities and telephone, and we were unfavorable primarily due to two things. One, higher water usage and higher electricity rates. We can't control the rates, but the usage is something we always hope to control, and you will hear later in the reports, as committees report, the Water Conservation Committee is becoming quite active again, and we'll talk about that soon. So again, that was water usage and electricity rates. As we move on to the next slide, here we see our non-assessment revenues on a pie, and here's the investment income portion that I was talking about that is almost 50% of our non-assessment revenue. Chargeable services, about 14%, laundry revenue, actually 9%, and lease processing fees at 7%. And all of those other categories certainly at a much smaller contribution, but ultimately contribute to those non-assessment revenues. As we move on to the next slide, and we find that pie chart we hope is a little bit easier for you all to see, and the visual being more effective. And here you can see that in terms of our total expenses, employee compensation and expenses related to that, such as insurance, et cetera, is at 39% of our total expenses. The next largest category remains insurance at 21%, and utilities, you can see that coming in also is very high. Outside services is only 10% of that total expense, and then in very, very much smaller portions, materials, cost allocations, and repairs and maintenance. Let's move on to the next. And here we're looking at our operating. We always want to focus on our operating income statement because our operating budget is the one we expect, the one we plan for, the one we work on all through the year before the next year and try to stay within it. And so we separate that out in detail. And you can see assessment revenue at this point, $5,298,000. Non-assessment revenue, only in the operating, remember this is not all of our revenue, only in the operating is $279,000 for a total of $5.5 million. Total expenses against are $4.9 million, leaving us an operating surplus of $660,000. As we move on to the next slide, here we're looking at our non-operating funds. These are funds that we are never certain what's going to be needed out of them. We have a very small fund for the Garden Villa, but a very important one, and it is at $121,000. Unappropriate expenditures is the same. Think of that as the contingency fund, and that is quite healthy at $6 million. The disaster fund, $5.5 million if you go across the bottom with our current balances. And our replacement funds, what we commonly call our reserves, as $24.6 million, for a total in all of these funds of $36 million. And let's move on to the next slide, which actually just shows the same thing as a bar chart. I think you skipped one.
Yeah, for some reason it's showing up blank. I'm not sure why.
Oh,
Apologize.
okay. Well, then we will do it without that. And I will tell you that basically all that does is actually show these same funds as they are over the last 5 years. And the bar charts just show that we have slowly been growing the balances in these funds, and it's been a concerted effort to do that. We always know that our aging community, in terms of its structures, is going to need maintenance, and we keep building those up. And then last, we have our resale history, and you can see, as I go back, now that I had to switch my pages, as we go back, in year-to-date, we've had 53 resales, which is actually a little higher than the number of resales the previous 2 years, and an average resale price of $578,000. Our resale values, our real estate values are holding quite well. But in terms of the variations you see in these numbers, always keep in mind there are some very high-ticket items from time to time that are well over $1 million. We've, I believe, recently had a sale of $2 million. And when that happens, it's always going to skew it. So don't get concerned about slight changes in the average resale price, and just keep in mind that they seem to be holding well. And with that, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Donna. Any question regarding financial report?
And just to mention, we do meet the first Tuesday of every month here in the boardroom at 1:30, and our next meeting will be May the 6th.
Director Yun, you had a question?
Yes. Thank you. For the page 5 of 10, slide number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Resale process fee, 4%. Most of the resale process fee, GRF taking 7,500, and then what we are taking to the mutual, to the resale.
Okay.
What included to the mutual?
What GRF takes isn't a processing fee. What they take is a very specific set fee to pay into our reserve fund.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because the people living here all along are paying to maintain our facilities, and they're moving in with everything in good shape.
Okay, it's a processing.
So they're totally separate. The processing fee is the work and the staff time and what has to be done. There's a great deal that goes into it.
Okay.
And same as the inspection fee then, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions?
Any question? Any further question? No? Okay, thank you. That is a good report for the financial report. Next item is ACSC, Director Yun.
Yeah. We met and we raised the unapproved processing fee or application fee from 300 to 400, and then we trying to we report the penalties or that to the resident policy committees. Thank you.
Okay. Item C, 12C, Director Muchnick.
Yes, I'm pinch hitting for Director Karimi, who is unable to be here today. He's the chair of this committee. Maintenance construction. The meeting of this committee took place on April 7th, at which time a number of important issues were addressed, including the proposal regarding patio slabs, walkways, and pavers, which was on the agenda today as new business. The committee did receive at the meeting the breezeway observation from Cardoza and Associates. This study was intended to determine the cause of seepage in the underground garages of the Garden Villa buildings. The report was received at the meeting and will be on the agenda for full discussion at the next M&C committee meeting. Discussion continued regarding the existing vigas. The committee recommended to the third board that the existing vigas not be removed and that during the regular paint cycle, they be replaced with marine-grade wood to simulate the look. At the next meeting of the M&C committee, the committee will discuss what, if anything, should be done regarding the approximately 81 buildings that have had the vigas removed since 2016. At A presentation of the steps in the damage restoration process was provided. Part of the presentation and discussion was the procedures when a call is received about a leak from a resident. Also discussed was when the resident is responsible for reimbursement for repairs and the role of having an HO6 policy. I encourage all members who may not be familiar with the steps in the process, since we're all subject to leaks in our manners, to check out the M&C meeting that was recorded and is available to you on Granicus and on YouTube. The next meeting of the M&C Committee is scheduled for Monday, May 5th at 1:30 here in the boardroom.
Item D, Landscape Committee. Third Mutual Landscape Committee meeting was held on April 3rd, 2025, 9:30 a.m. in this boardroom. Department head reported on March 25 for project progress, in-house tree works, training update, and ticket aging reports, and a new high fire zone map as well. With respect to new high fire zone requirement can affect our current and future plan. Also, Landscape Department announced that they are going to plant 3,300 trees in next 6 weeks in third alone. Landscape Committee discussed and considered the followings: 2026 budget, PPRP, and the committee requests Landscape Department come up with a plan to address the followings: lawn repair, slope repair, and the ticket reduction plan. Third, Landscape Committee next meeting is scheduled on Thursday, May 1st, 2025, 9:30 a.m. in this boardroom. Okay, next item is water conservation. Donna, please take away.
The Water Conservation Committee, and I have to say, when it met on January 30th, it was the Water Conservation Subcommittee. It meets quarterly. We meet 4 times a year, January, April, July, and October, always on the last Thursday of the month. And this time, the next meeting is April 24th. That's a week from Thursday. It will be the committee meeting. That means we have 2 more members. It means it can function much more, not independently of the board, but at least independently as a committee. And if you heard on the finance report, our water usage was up and has been slowly increasing, so it's time for us to start paying attention again, and every one of us kind of just being a little more aware of the water we're using. So the next meeting will be April 24th, as I said, a week from Thursday at 2 o'clock. It will be here on this floor in the Elm Room. And the reason we have it there, the boardroom isn't available and frankly isn't really as conducive for the Water Conservation Committee, because we have more of a discussion and try to generate ideas. And that's a little more difficult to do when you have the board sitting up here and people attending out there. So we encourage people to come and hopefully see you all at the Elm Room a week from Thursday at 2 o'clock.
Okay, thank you, Donna. And next item is report of resident policy and committee compliance committee. Director Muchnick, please.
Thank you, President Park. This committee has been very busy. The committee met on Wednesday, March 26th, and discussed a variety of policy issues. 3 of the policy issues were recommended to the third board and were placed on 28-day notice this morning for your consideration and reaction. They will be voted on next month. So you have this whole month to consider the policies and respond accordingly. The 3 policies were rules for board meetings, executive hearing committee charter, and pet policy in 3-story buildings. Future items that will be considered by the Resident Policy and Compliance Committee at upcoming meetings include alterations of exclusive use common area. The board is looking at the issue of how much of exclusive use common area manors are allowed to expand. Should they be allowed to expand the whole way using, for instance, a whole courtyard, or should there be a maximum amount That's what the committee is considering. If you have any input or concerns or related to that, please be sure to attend the meeting. Another one that we will be discussing is unpermitted alterations. We'll be discussing penalties. Today we put on the agenda fees for the unpermitted alterations, and next we'll be talking about penalties for that. We'll also be looking at paver standards, and then the consideration of residents who own one manor and want to swap for another, but do not have the financial resources to own the second manor until they sell the first manor. That's another issue that will be brought up. The next meeting of the committee is scheduled for Tuesday, April 22nd at 9:30 here in the boardroom. Thank you.
Thank you. Very thorough report. Thank you. Appreciate that report. Now, let's move to GRF committee highlights. 13A, Community Activities Committee. Director Muchnick.
Once again, thank you. The Community Activities Committee met on April 10th and had a very busy schedule. The committee recommended to the GRF board that they accept 2 donations. The first donation was from the Light Volleyball Club to place a sign for them on the wall of Clubhouse 1 Gymnasium. The second donation was for a misting system from the Lawn Bowling Club. Both donations were recommended to the GRF board to be accepted. 6 additions to the 2026 capital program were considered. The committee recommended 5 of the requests, which include the following: pool covers for $16,500, bocce backboards and side rails for $25,000, jewelry studio workshop benches, 29 benches for $10,000, and the fairway restoration of Fairway 9 of Golf Course 1 for $240,000. The committee at this time did not recommend the purchase of a CNC router for the machine shop. The bulk of the time for the committee was spent on reviewing and updating the recreation policy. Questions relating to the definition of a fundraiser and how many fundraisers are permitted per club per calendar year was discussed. This discussion was lively. There were a lot of different opinions. The discussion will continue at next month's meeting, which is scheduled for Thursday, May 8th, 1:30 in the boardroom. Thank you.
Thank you. Continue, Director Muchnick, regarding the traffic hearing.
Oh, okay.
Just keep going.
All right. Traffic Hearing Committee met on March 19th, at which time we had 7 cases of traffic regulation violations that the committee reviewed. 3 of the cases involved failure to obey stop signs. All 3 were found guilty. 2 of the cases involved fines, while 1 case was found guilty, but the fine was waived. It should be noted that the latest fines, which were implemented beginning January 1, 2025, resulted in 1 individual being fined $400 for committing the same offense for the 3rd time. So please, folks, understand the penalties have been increased, some in cases dramatically. You want to really pay attention to those stop signs to avoid these kinds of potential costs. The remaining 4 offenses included 3 for illegal parking and 1 for speeding. While all 4 were found guilty, 3 were fined. The next meeting of the Traffic Hearing Committee is scheduled for tomorrow. President Park will be sitting in my place, so he'll give the report next month. So tomorrow, Wednesday the 16th at 9 a.m. here in the boardroom.
Thank you, Director Muchnick. Another excitement that I got. Okay. Okay. Item C, Disaster Preparedness Task Force. Director Parsons.
Okay, the task force met on March 25th at 9:30 a.m. and it was in the boardroom. It was a virtual meeting. Some items that were discussed was, as you probably remember, the consultant named Jacob Green final gap analysis report was submitted, and I don't know whether you can get a picture of it or not, but anyway, if you want to get a copy of it, it's going to be available, just ask. And what they were doing in there is to evaluate the current status of our disaster preparedness workforce here. They wanted to set realistic expectations for the community. The goal as a committee is to get our EOP in place and training curriculum for staff, volunteers, and create exercises. Another item that was discussed was the radio antennas to be at each of our clubhouses and also the par 3 golf course. They have been installed in clubhouses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. They're fully equipped. The installation of the antennas for clubhouse 6 and par 3 golf course will be scheduled in the near future. They aim to have this completed sometime in May of 2025. Another item is bike registration at Clubhouse 4. Friday, March 21st, that actually happened. There were approximately 110 registered bikes in the community. The new bike registry will be an early June date and location to be determined. The Disaster Preparedness Task Force volunteer meeting will be Wednesday, or has been Wednesday, March 26, 25. It was held at Clubhouse 7 and from 10 a.m. to noon. The Health and Wellness Expo was on Saturday, March 29th. The security department had a table for the expo at Clubhouse 5. The next meeting will be May 27th, 2025, 9:30 a.m.
Next is the GRF MNC, Director Parson again. Please.
Okay. The meeting was held on February 12th, 2025, 9:30 a.m. And some things that I would like to bring to your attention came off of the project log, and so I'll just read them. I'm sure that people are going to be interested in several of these that come up. Clubhouse 1 generator. Project scope will be presented in August of 2025. And they look to have it decided or installed by March 2026. Clubhouse 1 Fitness Center HVAC system. Project scope will be presented in June 2025, hopefully to be completed by December 2025. For those who like swimming, just a note, Clubhouse 2 pool plastering. This is where they have to go in and put a resurface on it. They hope to have this project done by December 2025. Clubhouse 2 pool deck resurfacing. I think this was mentioned at our CEO's update. They hope to have everything done by May 2025. Clubhouse 6 pool plastering. Hope to have this done by December 2025. A new HVAC system for Clubhouse 7. The project scope will be presented in June of this year, and hopefully to have it completed December 2025. Just a couple more. Garden Center bathroom refurbishment. Work scheduled to start in May of 2025, completed in July of this year. Garden Center building exteriors. Work started in May of 2025, is scheduled. Hopefully to be done in July. And one that has been completed is the Clubhouse 3 PAC sound system. Invoicing is pending, but it was completed in February 2025. And that completes my update.
Thank you. Now, GRF Finance Committee, Director Solzdak, please.
Okay. The GRF Finance Committee meets every other month. Its last meeting was February the 19th of this year, and the next meeting is actually tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 here in the boardroom. There was a special meeting yesterday that wasn't the Finance Committee, but all of GRF relating to finances. And it was a meeting where they didn't spend anything, and there are no concerns about special assessments or anything else. They merely set aside large sums of money for potential large projects, including the internet fiber possibility. And so all they did was set the money aside. Other decisions regarding it will be coming up, but I did want to share it with you because it certainly relates to finance. But that money is coming from reserves.
Okay, thank you. GRF Mobility and Vehicles Committee, Director Johnson, please.
Yes, thank you. That meeting was held on February 5th at 1:30 p.m. in the boardroom. The next meeting will be May the 7th at 1:30, same place. During the meeting, we approved 2 electric vehicles for landscape and a bench for cul-de-sacs 314. We did review the ridership of all the different methods, we're working with the city to look at modifications to the ridership. A study was done in 2020 by GRF to evaluate the ridership, which is now very obsolete since we've added some new methods. So as a result, we have asked the committee and VMS to look into modifying the ridership. It is modifying the methods of ridership and the usage because it appears to be dropping off without an increase in other areas. So they will be presenting their findings at the meeting on May the 7th.
Okay. Next item is the GRF Landscape Committee. That landscape meeting was held on February 12th, and the next meeting is May 14, 2025. There's nothing to report at this point. Thank you. Now, very important meeting, Space Planning Ad Hoc Committee. Director Muchnick, please.
Okay. This committee met on the 24th of March. The committee discussed 4 items. The first was space planning options that included everything from a new construction of Building E to continuing to lease space and the construction of a new recreation center with space for VMS staff. So there were 7 different items that were considered, as one from one extreme to the other. The second item discussed was the recommendation from VMS regarding space needs for staff that involved the redesign of Building E. They put forward a plan with diagrams of how they would use a newly constructed Building E, mostly for security services and maintenance. The committee did make a recommendation to the GRF board for that $45,000 to $60,000 be allocated to employ the services of a structural engineer to assess the actual structural integrity of Building E. It's believed that we can't really make any decision about what happens to Building E without knowing the structural integrity of that building. So the Space Planning Ad Hoc Advisory Committee recommended that this be done regarding Building E. The next meeting of this committee is scheduled for April 28th, 9:30 to 12, here in the boardroom. I encourage everyone to please attend. This is an issue that has gone on for many, many years, and the current Space Committee is interested in trying very hard to resolve this issue one way or the other. Thank you.
Thank you. Our very able directors are committee of those, so they will contribute significantly, I think. Next item is Information Technology Advice Committee, so-called GRF ITAC closed meeting was held March 28, 2025, 1:30 p.m. It closed meeting. This advisory committee overseeing the development and the implementation of Microsoft-based Dynamic 365 software program. ERP system implementation project is in phase 2, targeting completion at the end of December 2025. ITAC committee discussed the following plans. First, rollout plan for handheld device for landscape and MNC department. And second, ticket satisfaction survey template. And 3, service level expectation. So next, the ITAC meeting is scheduled on April 25th at 1:30 p.m. on web closed meeting. Next item is a GRF Broad Ad Hoc Committee Director Muchnick. He's very busy today. Thank you.
Thank you, President Park. I'm not sure that's a good thing. The committee met on March 6th to receive updates on the progress that has been made in terms of contract negotiations. It is fully expected that we will have a completed contract, actually we were told it could be as yesterday or today. The Broadband Committee is scheduled to meet again early next week to review that contract. Please know that the Broadband Committee really is dealing with the whole issue of the fiber network that will be installed in the community. The last time there was an update to our cable system was back in 1999 when they installed it. And simply what's happened is over the last 30 years, the technology has changed dramatically. Cable is on its way out. Streaming is here to stay, at least for now, until whatever comes after it. And to move everything into the 21st century, we are going to have this broadband fiber optic come to every manor. They'll be installed to every manor. In addition, we will no longer be using West Coast Internet. They will go away. And instead, part of the package with this fiber optic will be a 2 gigabyte internet service that everyone will have, and it'll be included along with the TV service through the fiber optic in your monthly HOA. And like I said, the next meeting is scheduled for early next week. It's a closed meeting. I'm not even sure where it's being held. Other than that, we'll keep you updated.
I have some question regarding that West Coast Internet. When they do not service any longer, comline.com, is it going to be exist, or do we need to change domain of the internet service email system?
I do not know the answer.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Let me offer a suggestion on that. West Coast Internet is a very small company.
Yes.
And I think they would be very happy to continue to service us until they significantly just go out of business. They're a family company down there in Laguna Beach. They only service a very few other smaller communities. So I would hope that and think that it's in their best interest to continue to serve us until we no longer exist. But that would have to be negotiated. I'm sure they're looking at that.
I'd like to hear from our staff what is the plan. They're going to do whatever on the domain.com system. Okay, thank you. Now, Director Wayne, could you report on GRF Security and Community Access Plan Committee? Can you?
Yeah, he's muted.
Director Wayne
muted.
had asked me if I would handle his report.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Director Wayne, do you still want me to do that?
Could you unmute it?
He said yes.
He's nodding his head.
All right. Standing in for Director Wayne, the Security and Access Committee last met on February 26th. The next meeting is simply scheduled for April 23rd at 1:30 p.m. in the boardroom and as a virtual meeting. Thank you.
Okay. Item 14, future agenda item. First, revision to Standard 21, which is 28 notice. And second, revision to unauthorized alteration fee. Amended rules for board meeting. Amended executive hearing committee charter. And lastly, amended pet policy. Any other future items any directors wanted to add? Yes.
Yes. Review the committee assignments.
Okay, review, yes.
That'll be done agenda prep.
Yeah, agenda prep will take care of that. Okay. I will put that there. Agenda for review committee assignment. Okay. Anybody else? Mr. Howard Fox? Latecomer. So, do you have? I know that, but you're in physical. Yes.
I didn't miss the meeting.
Oh yeah. Okay. Thank you. You missed some. Okay.
All right, you move it along.
Yeah. Let's move along. We are hungry now. Okay. There's no anymore. So 15 is the director comment. First, new director, Mr. Director Jim Hawkins. Any comments?
First, I've watched the meetings online on occasion, and being here, it's being a pleasure to see the camaraderie and also how business gets done here. So again, thank you for welcoming me. I do want to just talk about a little bit of the special GRF meeting yesterday, which I thought was kind of rushed on us. And I want to discuss more of that, maybe perhaps in closed session, because I think it has to do with the relationship. But it was planned for the broadband, and some things were added to it very late, and I thought that those things that were added should have required a little bit more consideration prior to being added.
Thank you. Latecomer Director Howard Fox.
He was here.
Latecomer, yeah.
I gotta tease him.
I take offense.
I do.
Okay. Good.
No comment.
Oh, thank you. Ruther Johnson?
No more comments.
No. How about Peggy?
No, I'm done with comments.
Oh, good, thank you. How about Robert?
I've said more than enough.
I think so. I do too. How about you?
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, on landscape, the contractor pruning the trees, he has 7 crews that are going to start here real soon in 3rd, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so people need to be aware of that. Don't get upset if you run into a crew, turn a corner, run into another one.
I did this morning.
Did you?
The reason for that is that Bartlett is a national company, and they do business all over the United States. And their tree trimmers are not busy this time of year on the East Coast. So they have brought crews from the East Coast out here to California to expedite the tree trimming and keep them working out here.
Really?
That's what's going on.
Oh, wow. Okay. How about Donna?
No additional comments, except I do think that the tree people, did I hear that they're going to be working on Saturdays as well?
Yeah.
And not starting till 9 o'clock, I believe someone
I
said.
hope so.
So we don't have to worry about that. But don't get excited when you see them on a Saturday. We're not used to that.
Okay.
And we're pleased.
Director Yun? Oh,
I passed it, I did want to say.
just hold on.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Okay, yeah.
Donna, I love the chart. Thank you.
Oh, that's all you wanted to say? Oh, is that what-
It was important.
Oh, good. Thank you.
No, and in response to that, thank you, and we'd love to hear from our residents. We've really changed the format and cut down the numbers of slides.
Okay.
Sometimes they were repetitive, we thought, and that it might be just make more impact if it was shorter and a little more visual rather than so many numbers, which sometimes tend to float right over.
Okay, Director Yun,
Thank you.
since yield, yes.
Since
please.
you brought it up, I wanted to mention they did the green belt behind me between Mesa and Sosiega, and they brought in a crew and they did a fantastic job.
Oh,
They
okay.
used the cones, they let us know, they did about a dozen trees behind us, big trees, they did a great job.
Okay, good. Thank you. Now, your turn.
I'm interested in find out our broadband service for the general in our community, Laguna Wood Village or VMS or Third Mutual. Are we making money or are we losing money? And it can be from the broadband committee for GRF or finance committee. I'm interested to figure it out or find out, are we losing money or are we making money or are we making even?
I can share a little bit that would not be confidential, certainly, because it is, we find out in meetings. Advertising has gone way down since cable has gone way down. So our financial sheets, I don't have them in front of me, but they are different than they used to be. Last year was an election year, and that was sort of the writing on the wall that it's time to move to a different way of doing things than the old cable system, because we had a huge decrease. And in fact, it was a year, when it's an election year, that's usually our big income year. So but I do want to tell people, tomorrow is the Finance Committee from GRF. So anyone who wants to know, 1:30 here in the boardroom, come and they'll hear all about it.
Okay. How about Catherine? Do you have it?
No comment.
Okay. How about Michaela?
Nope, no comment.
Jim, you do have any comment? No? Good. Thank you.
And Paul would be here to have a comment, but he went up to have lunch.
Okay. Okay. At this time, the meeting will recess for lunch and reconvene to executive session upstairs. Thank you.
What time would you like it to reconvene at?
Maybe 12:30?
Okay, sure.
Good. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.